Okay, we'll just wait a minute because there's a few people that will probably come in a minute after. So let's just wait a moment. Okay, all right, let's begin. Welcome back, everyone. So this afternoon session is a 2-hour deep dive into tech, which might mean that some of you just want to like switch off, close the laptop down straight away and run off. But we'll try to make it as interesting and helpful as possible. And one thing I'll say, I don't love tech. It's not my favorite area, but it really is literally life-changing and business-changing when you get your head around it. So it's worth going through a little bit of the discomfort of, you know, getting your head around this stuff so that you can expand and grow your business. Now, particular focus today will be for people who have an online business or an element of their business online, but doesn't mean if you don't have an online business, this isn't relevant, because there's definitely going to be lots in here that is. One caveat that I want to give before we jump in is that not everything we share will be for everybody in the group. So I'm going to say that again. Not everything is for everyone. So you need to use your discernment and filter. Like there will be some things that you'll be immediately like, yes, this speaks to my business. It's relevant. I need to jump into this. And there'll be other things that are just not for you right now because it's not where you're at. It's not the stage of business that you're at. However, even if you're not quite there in terms of some of the things that we're suggesting or guiding you through, hopefully you will be at some point. So, you know, even if it's not for right now, there will be probably quite a lot of stuff in here that will be for at some point in the future. So, you know, again, I hope that that's helpful. The way that we're going to do it, we're going to spend the first hour with Edwina because she's much more of a tech master than I am, tech wizard. She's going to run us through a whole bunch of different things that do different things in terms of tech in your business. And then after that hour, she is going to leave and I'm going to stay and do a Q&A of all, whatever you want to ask, whatever you know, we can look at whether it's relevant for your business, where you're at, what you need, etc., etc. Now, it will be quite easy to get overwhelmed in this session. So let's just take a moment to acknowledge that that's the potential and just, again, use your discernment one step at a time. We're here to support you through. We're all coming in at different levels of skill and, you know, stages in our business. But I can definitely speak from personal experience. I'm not the most techie person in the world, and I've taught myself a lot of this stuff. So I do feel like if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I'm not coming from a place of sort of naturally being good at this and then sort of expecting you to be the same. So I remember very well what it was like to be right at the beginning. All right, so with all of that said, I'm going to hand over to Edwina and we'll jump off the diving board.
Oh, sweetheart, I'm on a call.
Perfect.
Can you go? Sorry. Go out to mummy. Go out to daddy. Okay. Off you go. Come on. And that was a great start. Gosh, okay. Hello, everybody. As Katie said, tech can be a little bit overwhelming, so we'll try not to overwhelm you too much. And I've chosen, you'll get a PDF handout in the portal afterwards with all the links. So don't worry about rushing to take down links and all that sort of thing. I'll pop everything in. I haven't uploaded it yet, so I can add extra to it if we need to. And yeah, the things that I'm going to share with you today are the things that Katie uses and I use in our businesses every day. And they're really user friendly generally, and they should be quite supportive for you at different stages of your business. So we won't start with websites. We'll swing back to websites. So let's first start. I wanted to run through a quick session, like a quick basic tutorial on Canva, because Canva is something that we use every day. Has everyone heard of Canva? Yeah. You can just raise your hand if you haven't heard of it. It is a graphic design platform. So it's an online platform that is like having a graphic designer in your laptop or your iPad. It's really great. I've been using Canva for probably about 10, 12 years now. And gosh, it's changed over the years and it's absolutely incredible. It's got some amazing templates. It's got all sorts of things. So Katie, if you could just allow me to share my screen.
Yes. I think that should have worked.
Yeah, that will work. I'm just going to share with you Canva and just go through the basics just so we can see what it actually looks like and what I'm talking about. It's going to be quite visual, which is great, and hopefully remove any overwhelm, and you'll start to get to learn a little bit about the lingo. Okay, so Canva here, it's canva.com, and it is as I said, it's a graphic design platform. I'm just loading to go home so I can show you the home page first, and it's going to take forever, of course.
Is it, Edwina, it's free, right? And then you pay if you want to upgrade. Is that correct?
Yes, so it's free. There's a free component, and it's not working. It's free, yes, and you can pay. I pay $17.99 a month, and it gives you absolutely everything. Or you can pay by the year and save 20%. So it's the difference with the free and the paid version is there's a lot more stock images in the paid version, lots more fonts and a few different capabilities. But to use the basics of Canva, you really only need the free version. And let's wait for it to load.
I would say just on the stock photos front, I mean, there are some really, really beautiful stock photos out there that you can definitely use. But in my opinion, generally speaking, you're so much better off using your own photos because it has the vibration of you and your work. And yeah, I mean, or a mixture of stock and yours, but you can always tell when a website is, or, you know, branding is completely stock photos. It just looks very generic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think with stock, you can use, like, depending, like when you're using people and that sort of thing, stock can get really, like, you know, you can tell that it's stock. But if you're using beautiful images of flowers and like little graphics and icons and using some of the things in Canva to create your overall graphic and overall look, it can give you a really unique look. So you'll find this is the home page, and I've got sort of all my recent designs there. You can categorize things into projects. You can save your own templates. So you can sort out your own Canva into folders, which is what I do. So I've got a different folder for a different topic and things. But we're going to just show you a quick, what I was just working in, which is our little handout, because that's what you're going to see. Sorry, it's really slow. I think because I must be on Zoom and it's just a little bit slow in loading. Or maybe Canva doesn't want to work today. So what we'll do is I'll run through the templates. You can pick all different templates, but what I like to do is look at all the different templates and all the different designs that people have been creating in Canva, and then try and sort of tweak them and create my own so they do look, as Katie said, they don't look too generic and they look like your brand. But just to get the basics, so this is a basic PDF handout that I created for Bhakti Business for the one of the modules. And what I did here is I simply found some beautiful, they're all my own photos in there. And then I've just used a frame, which has given them like a little bit of a vintage wrinkled look. So it's got some really cool functions like that you can use. Down the side here, you'll see there's design, and this will show you all different templates for that size that you've chosen. So you might choose a Instagram size, you might choose something for Facebook, a PDF if you're creating a handout, you might have a, like you might be wanting to do a nice quote. So you'll see down the side here, it's got lots of different ideas and templates, and you can simply add here a fresh new page, and we're just going to change the color background just to white, because that just looks a bit better. So you can simply choose, sorry, go back to design, a template and slide it over. And then in here, this is a template already done. You can add your own photos, which is really quite cool. What Canva will do then is give you down the side, this is your menu. There's different elements that you can use and add to each of your designs. So say you like this design, but you wanted to add some graphics to it, or a logo or something like that. You can go here and they've got all the different shapes, graphics, little stickers, all sorts of things. And you could simply search, for example, let's do a heart. We might like to find a heart to put over here. So we've got a little graphic here that we can pop. We can have a little look through here, pop some hearts on there, and you can start to build on top of that and build your designs that way. Then you can add some text. So here we've got the Bhakti Rose, one of the Bhakti Rose fonts here already in here, because you can set your own brand up in Canva. So you can pull your own fonts there, you can set up all your colors and make it really specific for your brand. Let's change the color of this font. We go up to the little A symbol up here, which has got the text color. And here you can see I've got the Bhakti Rose colors set up in here. So we can change it just by clicking on that color swatch. You can start to change the colors of your graphics and your fonts and start to really bring your brand into that particular design.
And can I just say something, Edwina, because I didn't know this for so long and it was such a game changer for me. It's really obvious if you know, but I didn't know that every color has a number associated with it, and those numbers you can make a note of them, and then that's how you know what your colors are, and then you can set them up like Edwina's done here in a little like palette, and then every time you want to use, you know, create anything, you've got your colors there, so everything will always look consistent because you're not like chopping and changing. I mean, I know this is really silly, but for a long time I would be like looking for the closest color and trying to color match just visually, because I didn't realize that colors had their own special code and you could just create a palette like this. So that was a game changer for me. What are they called, those codes, Edwina?
They're called the you've got the hex code. There's a couple of different names, but in Canva we use a hex code.
Okay. So and same when we get to Kajabi later, you can do exactly the same in Kajabi. Use that code and then you'll always have the right color.
Yeah. Yeah, and when we go back to the homepage, I'll show you exactly where you can set your little brand palette up, because you'll have a look here. I've got number of brands, so you can set up lots of different colorways. So you can choose, see I've got all these different brands in here and all their colors, and then I can just literally choose that between my designs and graphics. So if you've got a couple of businesses with different brands, you can do that as well with different brand palettes, which is really cool. The other cool thing with colors is, say you wanted to, and I've gone into this in a bit more detail in the portal, in the beautiful branding thing, but you can actually change the color. Say I wanted to change those hearts to a different color that actually matches the images that I've got in that palette. I can actually click on this little picker. This is something that I didn't know for a long time. I was like, how can I get this color? And I really love that color. And then when I figured this out, it was like life-changing. So you can pull that little picker, drag him over to the images, and you can get that exact color match for that particular image, which is really great. So that's how you can create a really beautiful cohesive graphic and start to bring that into your design. So you've got that little trick there as well. Then the other thing, discard. And then the other cool thing about colors is if we go in here back into colors, you can see here, you can actually pull a color palette from an image. So you can see this is actually going to pull all the different images that I've got in this particular Canva document, like in this template, and it's going to pull all those colors out of the images that I've actually used. So that can really help with a beautiful color palette. There, done, and you've got a color palette ready made for you. You don't have to fluff around too much, and it's done. You've got a nice cool color palette, so on and so forth. So that's a really cool thing that you can do. Now say you wanted to change this font, so we've got the Sunburn font. Here's where you'll find all your fonts, and you can click on this drop down, and here you'll see they'll send you up different fonts depending on what you've used and what's popular at the moment. So you can have a little plain search through there. Or say you wanted something like a nice handwriting font, you can search handwriting and it will bring you up all the fonts that have got like a nice handwriting style. And then you click on that and it will change the font that you've got that you've got highlighted. So you just highlight that font and you can change it. So there you can see that's quite easy, and it's really quite fun to have a look and check out all the different fonts. And also in the other session that I did, it will show you how you can do like font suggestions. So you can also upload your own font. So if you have purchased a font from somewhere, or you've got your own font from a graphic designer that's specific for your branding and your logo, you can actually upload the file there and it will pull it straight in. I've got a lot of my own fonts in here for different things that I've purchased over the years, and you can just simply upload them and use them in all your designs, which is really cool. Now text styles. Here it will just show you, what some suggestions could be, different styles. Now across the top here, another thing with your font, how sometimes you think, how do people get that font to look longer and this and that? You can actually change your letter spacing. So see, if you slide along here, you can change the width in between each of your letters. So that helps when you're designing different things and you want, like a little bit of a different look. You can also change your line spacing, so the space in between your lines when you're writing text. You can also add effects to your font. I'm just going to take this off for a minute. Just click on them if you want to just remove them, and I'm just going to pull it onto a white so it's a little bit easier to see. So here you can add effects. So say you want something to glow or bounce or glitch, you can actually have effects on them and change the look of the actual font by putting different effects. Neon's pretty cool. You can lift the font. So if you want the font to be a little bit more defined, you can just lift it off the page a little bit. You can see there's a little bit of a shadow on it. You can also animate your font, which is great for reels and different graphics. So you can rise, it can pan, can drift. So there's all sorts of different things that you can do here. So the other thing that is a life changer is, say you've got a couple of different, so you want to duplicate that header and you want to write something else there, and then you want to, say they're all sort of off center a little bit, you might like to tidy them up a bit. So you click on the position and then go to, you can bring them all to the left, tidy them all up to the left, tidy them up to the middle. So you can change their direction and tidy up, and that's how you can get some really nice, clean positioning. What else have I got in here? So
I was just thinking, Edwina, another thing that's handy for people to know who don't know much about this at all is that you can choose the thing that you're working on. So like, for example, you could say, choose a template for a business card, or choose a template for a postcard, or gosh, what other things? An Instagram story.
Yep, let's do that. I'll show you how we can do that. That's the next thing. So when it loads, you can literally type it into the search bar, and Canva will give you heaps of different templates, or you can start from scratch. So, oh, why is this so slow?
As someone who has very little experience and isn't very good at this, I would definitely recommend that you don't start from scratch. Just use the template, because
templates,
trying to build your own template, that's Edwina level. It's not my level.
So now, oh, go away. Now it's doing all different things. So here's the little search bar. So what would you like to design today? Let's do a business card. Business card. And you can get quite, you could even write business card esoteric, you could write business card yoga, you could write business card, and it will actually generate a heap of templates with those themes as well. So it really makes life easy, and it's honestly not normally this slow.
Another thing you guys may or may not know about is, and I use this in my business, it's good, is Vistaprint. So Vistaprint is a printing company, but they're low cost, and you can design some stuff in Vistaprint, but it's not that great. But you can design in Canva, and then if you want to print, you can send the design over to Vistaprint and upload it there, and then do really good sort of, it's easy to navigate and it's reasonably priced to get things printed.
Yeah, you just download.
I'll pop it in the chat.
Yeah, download it in a PNG and off you go. So here's an example. Here's some examples. There's like tons and tons of examples. So just scroll through and see which something that jumps out, which this one jumps out to me, funnily enough, the pink and the cool fonts. You click on that, and it will bring up the design, so you can have a bit of a closer look. And then it's also going to show you as well some other designs that are in that similar sort of design look and feel. So this is quite bright. You can print through Canva as well, but it is really expensive, so I don't recommend that whatsoever. It's like 5 times the price of Vistaprint.
Yeah, I don't know what Amelia was printing, that it was the same. She's saying it was similar pricing, but I found it to be a lot more expensive. So,
oh, okay. Yeah, I found it to be a lot more expensive.
Maybe Amelia's got a friend at Canva.
Yeah.
I haven't actually used it I haven't used Vistaprint for a few years, so maybe I'm paying more money than I should be.
Vistaprint is really, really cheap. It's like by far the most competitive in the market. I mean, I did some research because I printed some postcards about 6 months ago. So that's about 6 months old.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I did my cards and my business cards and things about 6 months ago. And for under $200, I got postcards, I got flyers, and I got business cards, like heaps.
And Kirsten, sorry, Edwina, just to answer your question, Kirsten, definitely you can put your own logo in there. You can put any images or graphics in there and just store them in Canva and then work with them, as Edwina was showing you.
Yeah. So here's the business card. So you can simply go in and edit all the different elements. And so you can put your name here. And then simply, if you run out of space because you've got more letters than what they've got, what you can do is just like make it a little bit bigger. You can highlight, my internet is so slow, it's just not wanting to work. You can highlight the text, and you can actually go up here to this little minus button and shrink it down until it sort of fits. And then that sort of, so that's the front. You can change the colors here. So you can change these to your brand colors. You can change this little background. You can change the background colors. So this is all editable here to your brand colors. So we can change that to say Bhakti Roses pink. And then change that to orange. And you can see how, it's really changed the look once you put your own branding in there. And then there's got the back as well. So you can even go to the back and you've got a beautiful back there. You can put your phone number and your details, and you can edit all of that. And you can move these elements around as well on that. So you really can customize those templates. So that's the business card. What was it? What did you just say before, Katie, about printing? There was something else that I wanted to show you.
I don't know. You're asking me what I said 5 minutes ago. I can't remember. We've already had that conversation once this morning, Edwina.
Yeah, I forgot about that conversation. Oh dear. So business cards, and then you can do, say you wanted to do a nice quote. There's just so many. You could spend hours in Canva having a play around.
And I will say, from the purely sort of bigger picture business point of view, although, you know, branding is really important, design is really important, you also have to look at what some business coaches call profit making activities or profit generating activities, and spending 5 hours in Canva isn't necessarily one of those. So, you know, it does matter. It is important. It matters a lot to me what my branding looks like. And I'm very aware that I could waste a lot of time in there that feels like I'm working, but I'm not actually really necessarily doing the things I really need to be doing to move my business forward.
Yeah, busy work.
Busy work. Yeah.
So there you can search, you know, beautiful yoga quotes, and you can tailor all of these. So you can get lots of inspiration, which is really great. And then the other thing, so on that note about saving time in Canva, I would recommend that if you've got your brand colors, you've got your fonts, that you get in there straight away and you set up your brand. And this is only available for those with a pro account. I don't think you can do it if you don't have a pro account, but you go to brand kit, and then I'll just click on this one here, for example. And then what you can do is that's what I was going to say. This is where you can upload your logos. So you can upload all your logos to your brand kit. So then they're really easy. You just go into there in the menu when you're in a design, and then just click it over, and it will just go onto each of your designs. Set up your colors. You can have lots of different colors in there. You can have a number of different color palettes. So you've got different offers with different color palettes. So coming down here, you can put your fonts in there. You can upload any fonts that you might have purchased that aren't in Canva. You can add any of your brand photos, and it keeps everything there. So you've had a photo shoot and you're working on a sales page or something, and you've got specific photos you want to use. Makes it really quick and easy. Graphics, any of the graphics that you like, and any other icons and things that you might have with your branding. So it just makes life really easy if you set it all up from the beginning. And then you can always, you know, there's also the search function, the help, there's tutorials in Canva that if you wanted to spend a bit more time, you know, learning and diving a little bit more into it, you can always jump in. There's different designers that you can follow if you really love their work in there and use their templates. Yeah, anything else about Canva? That's sort of the basics. I could talk about it literally all day, but we don't have all day.
No, I think that's good. That's a really good foundation. And yeah, like Edwina said, you can jump in and do the tutorials and play around a bit if you want to, you know, do a deeper dive.
Yeah. And
there's also information in the module that the module on Sundari Beauty that Edwina created for us in the business portal.
Yeah, there's a little bit more in there. So now I want to jump to just show you something quickly, which is called, just in line with Canva, is called Creative Market. So Creative Market is a platform where designers pop their work, and if you want to purchase something that's a little bit different, that's not just a stock standard graphic or a stock standard font, Creative Market is a really great place that you can search, and it's really quite inexpensive. Just bringing it up, I'll start. Oh, where is it? Creative Market. There it is. So yeah, it's a really great little website that you can find some things that just are a little bit different and a little bit more unique to your brand. So it's a place that you can purchase fonts, graphics, photos, icons, all sorts of things. So I've linked that for you there as well if you're looking for something a little bit different than just the norm, which is quite cool. You can search in the top as well for, like, say you wanted to do like a boho font. And it will bring up a heap of fonts and things that you can purchase for, like, you know, $12, $13. It's really quite inexpensive. You can also get mock-ups in here, like if you're creating workbooks and that sort of thing, you can get like beautiful templates for workbooks and things. You can get different graphics, illustrations. You can get Canva templates in here as well. So if you wanted to have a whole series of Canva templates that were ready to go, you can do that from here as well. So this is another great place that, you know, you can have in your little toolkit when you're designing and doing all your branding. So the next thing I wanted to just quickly chat about was social media apps. And we're going to do some more social media. We're going to dive deeper into it, but Later is a really great platform. That's my preferred scheduling app. Later is a great platform to do all your social media scheduling. It will post automatically to creator accounts and to normal business accounts. A lot of the other scheduling apps, if you've got a creator account because you wanted your blue tick and whatnot, won't get you that auto publish. So I really love that. It's got excellent reporting. So when you get to that stage in your business where you really want to sort of drill down and look at your reporting, your hashtags that are working really well, what posts work, what reels are working, it gives you a really good reporting system. And what else about it? Yeah, it's just really great hashtag research. So it really takes that guesswork out of what hashtags will I use. You can actually research the hashtags that are performing the best for your industry, and that will work well for your business. So I love that. Another new app that I'm looking at that I'm just playing with at the moment is called ManyChat. So you know when you go to someone's post and they say comment course, and I'll send you the link, and you've got a little bot that jumps into your DMs and sends you a link to somewhere to sign up for a course. Has anyone seen that before? Yeah. So that's what ManyChat does. So I've literally just set this up for my account today, and I'm just playing with it and testing it and getting to know it. And it's been really fun. So that is really cool. And I've linked that up. So it will basically, it's like a little bot that'll basically take a little bit of that work for us out of that thing. Chelsea, do third-party apps get penalized? No, they don't. They don't.
It used to, but I think, yeah, not really anymore because everyone's using them. One thing about apps like Later is just from a work, again, this idea of busy work and sort of being as efficient as we can and doing the things that are important. Batching and scheduling your social media posts is a great way of saving time. So allocating some time, sit down, write a bunch of posts, and then schedule them. And then, you know, you can jump in and add some comments or add some extra information on the day, but you don't have to every day or every other day, you know, wake up and think, okay, what am I going to post about today? So the way I do it in my business is I tend to have some things scheduled, and they're normally around things I'm selling or launching or things that I know I'm going to be wanting to promote at that time. And then I'll also jump in and do spontaneous posts that are sort of in real time, depending on what I'm actually doing. But it just takes the pressure off, and it also means you don't have to waste time.
Yeah, it's really great. And it also means as well that when you're feeling inspired to actually write and share and create, you can sort of just sit down and batch it. You're not scrambling when you're a bit tired and you're not feeling like it. So it is a really great way to keep that consistency with your social media.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like it.
The consistency is so important, Chelsea. Like Chelsea's saying she's taken a break because it was a big time drain, and I totally get that. I mean, you know, you guys know I outsource 90% of my socials to Edwina for that reason. If you take a break, the algorithm will punish you. It's that simple. Like, it just isn't really worth it. Like, I would say just batch a bunch of content, put it in a posting app like Later, and then set and forget. It's much better to do that than to just disappear completely, because they're onto us and they just want us to keep posting. I mean, basically the bottom line is the more you post, the more the algorithm rewards you, which is so crap in terms of living your life, but that's the truth.
I'll show you quickly
what would you say about posting every day, Edwina?
I don't think you need to post every day. I think you need to be consistent and show up regularly. If you post, you can post 3 to 4 times a week, but a really quick and easy way to show up daily is in your stories. You can be doing and I'll do that. If I don't have the capacity and the time, I'll do a quick story post and share in there, and then at least you're sort of there and you're showing yourself. But if you can sort of schedule posts every other day, it's really, really great to be consistent, but you don't have to be posting at a specific time every day. What Later will do, which is really great and save you time, is it will actually show you, this is the back end of Later here. I'm just going to show you something. This is just the weekly calendar. I'm going to go to Instagram because we're in Facebook. It does Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and you can literally schedule one post across all the different platforms. And you can see here what it shows. This little pink bits is where is the optimal time for Bhakti Rose to be posting. So I'll schedule posts for Katie's business in those peak times. So they Later, grabs all the information from the algorithm and whatnot, and and gives you the best times to post, which is really cool. You just simply upload your images and your content in here, and then when you're ready to post, click on the picture, and then you can quickly create your post. And then it's not usually this slow, by the way, my internet. It's got a little red box around there because that image is slightly too big. So I would normally change that. You can just go in and edit the image here and change the ratio just so it auto posts to Instagram. And then, you can write your post, write your post, make it look great. It's even got a little AI writer if you're feeling really, I'm still really, I have a real trigger with AI, but it's there. So you can type a few different words in there and it will give you some help writing your captions. The other thing as well is it's got hashtag suggestions here. So you can literally, we might put Ayurveda, we'll just put a few words in here, oils, for example, and then go to hashtag suggestions, and it will actually auto-generate hashtags that you can use for that post, which is really quick and easy. Then you just click them on over. And then you can schedule the post. We'll put the time in up here, schedule the post for the time, and then hit schedule and you're done. It's ready to go, auto post, and it will go when you've scheduled it for. Anything on that? That's just the really basics of Later. There's a lot more, but that's the basics. Taylor saying what times a day. It's different for all accounts, to be honest, Taylor. It's really different for all accounts. We can go into that in our social media session, but you can find optimal times in the Instagram app as well, and actually find out what times people are most on your socials as well. No, there's no maximum that you can schedule in advance. You could schedule 6 months if you wanted to in Later quite easily. Yeah, could schedule way ahead. I usually like to schedule, a week to 2 weeks in advance because you can kind of tweak things as you go to see what's performing and what's happening. So that is Later.
We're doing a whole other session on social media, aren't we, Edwina? Is it right? Yeah.
So we're doing a whole other session.
There'll be a lot more time for that.
Yeah. So I talked about ManyChat. Milkshake is the other one that we've talked a lot about. So I'm just going to stop sharing. I'll just show you Milkshake. Milkshake is what we've been talking about, like your link in bio. And it's a little app that you can use. You can only use it on your phone. You can't use it on a desktop. And it creates a really cool little website for you in your link in bio. So if you're not ready to have a website yet, but you want to start gathering people's emails, you want to start selling, you want to have somewhere to go that they can learn a little bit more about you that's not scrolling all the way through your Instagram feed, this little milkshake app is the way to go. It's going to share my screen again with you. So I use it on my social media. So it's that little link in bio here. Click on that. And it brings up this, that's my front page. That's got all the links so people can find me. They can join my free chai chats, and I can capture their email addresses here. They can learn how to work with me, go to my website, marketing, discount links and things. And then you can also create multiple pages. So you can also, with this, you can do an about me page. You can do a little blog post page. You can actually write blog posts in here. It's really quite cool. So it's get your own website, and this will just bring up, I've popped the link in for you, the actual place that you can download it. And that is a really nice workaround for those of you that are not building a website. So yeah, it just gives you that. And it shows you here, sorry, this internet is really popping around today, the different things that you can create. So you can create some really beautiful pages. It's really quite cool. You can really customize it to your brand colors. You can put all your own images in there. You can change all the fonts. You can change the layouts. So yeah, quite cool. Any questions about Milkshake? And it's free. Like, you can do all of that and it's free. That's the other thing that I love about it. You don't have to pay anything for it. So perfect for startups. Yes, it's free, Amelia. It's free, 100% free. Kim setting one up for her, Kim Butcher. Awesome. Yeah, it's really great. Okay. So the next thing, stop share, is email marketing. So I recommend Flowdesk, which is really beautiful, and I've talked about that before. It's you can have as many people, unlimited email addresses in Flowdesk for just $19 US a month. Other programs will charge you depending on how many email lists you had. MailChimp was charging me hundreds of dollars a month, so I switched to Flowdesk years ago. It creates really beautiful emails where you can drop and drag, and you can create beautiful designs and get all your information there. Your websites and things like Kajabi has got an excellent mailing system. I use that for my Shakti Creative business, and Katie uses that for her businesses, which we'll have a little bit of a look at in a sec. That'll be the next thing we'll look at. The only other thing is SEO was another thing that I wanted to quickly touch on as well. Because I know there's some people thinking about moving platforms and that sort of thing. So just thinking about your SEO from the search engine optimization and being found on Google, making sure that you've just got a little bit of a game plan in place to make sure that you're sort of moving.
Edwina, can you take a step back, and just because there'll be some people here that don't know really what SEO is or the difference between paid ads or SEO. So can you just explain that for real newbies that aren't familiar?
Yeah, okay, cool. So SEO means search engine optimization. So it's what we look at. So it's what Google does. So it's basically searching the World Wide Web. So when you Google something, yoga classes in Newcastle, it will bring up the different businesses that run yoga studios and run yoga classes in Newcastle. And then you can click on a place and you can go there. So the way that works is through Google's sort of algorithm and all the websites and all the information that's on the internet. And it's searching for all of those keywords. So yoga class Newcastle is your keyword phrase. So that's what Google's searching for across the multiple websites on the internet and bringing up the one that has got the best, you know, ranking. And to rank with search engine optimization with SEO will depend on your social media, will depend on your website and all those different things. So it pulls all that information from the internet and what you've got on your website. And then that's how you can sort of build your ranking, your blog posting, your YouTube channels. It all works towards bringing you more findable, what's that, discoverable on Google. And what Katie's talking about, you can also pay. So when you search, there might be a yoga studio in Newcastle, for example, that pays for Google AdWords. So what that is they pay, say, $10 a day to Google, and they've got an ad that pops up. So Katie uses, she pays for ads with Google. So when you search, you know, women's training Ayurveda, Bhakti Rose will pop up as a sponsored ad. And then that's what you get. I'm not a professional when it comes to SEO. I've written a little bit of a checklist, which I've linked on this handout for you on my blog. So you can sort of go back and have a little look there. But yeah, that's basically what SEO is. Does that make sense? Does everyone know what sort of Google is and searching and that sort of thing? Yeah, cool. So if you are planning to move your website over to Kajabi or a different platform, just know that you need to have a little look at something that we call URL redirects. And that's really important, that your links are being redirected, and there's people out there that you can pay to do that for you, and it doesn't cost a lot of money to get it done. I recommend Jane Day at Webinars. She's quite good. She does a lot of SEO work, and she's got a lot more tech and understands it a lot more than what I do, and she can help find somebody that will sort of do that for you and help move all of that, so you don't lose all of that work that you've done. And then just a miscellaneous one as well is Zapier. So Zapier is something that is a separate platform that links different platforms and things together. So it links different things. So for example, quizzes, well, we've got the quizzes as well, sorry. So you know the little dosha quiz that Katie's got, and she's got a business quiz on Bhakti Business. We need to link that information to all the emails that we capture from the quiz gets linked back to Kajabi. So Zapier is that little bit in between, that little link that just links the two, and they talk to each other and send that information back and forth. And you can get a free Zapier account if you're wanting to do that when you're sort of setting up your webs, and you can do a certain amount for free. I just use the free personally. I haven't gone over my little limit, but yeah, it works at connecting all the different techie things together.
When you're going to mostly need Zapier is if you've got lots of different platforms that you're wanting to have talk to each other. So for example, if you've got your online education in Teachable, and then you want to have people pay through your website, and then you've also got maybe a quiz as well, you need all those different components to kind of automate and talk to each other. So Zapier will do that. I had my business set up with all those different components, and Zapier doing all those, they call them zaps, like, you know, having these different elements talk to each other before I switched to Kajabi. When I switched to Kajabi, it eradicated really the need for any of that stuff, because it was just all in one place. And it not only did it save me work and just tech headaches, but it also, there's a lot less margin for error, because with Zapier, it's only as good as you set it up, and it's so easy for a link to get broken or for something to just get misdirected or not happen, and then you can really lose sales. So that was one of the reasons I switched over to Kajabi, or a platform where everything's all in one place. Like, for example, your website and your emails at the very least, sorry, my daughter's not very well, so she's sitting on my lap, are just in the same location. So you're not having to constantly try and get one bit to talk to another. That's probably only relevant for those of you who are a little bit more advanced in your business as well. So again, just going back to what I said at the beginning, if all this feels a little bit overwhelming, because it's a lot, it's not all going to be relevant for you. And if you don't know what it means, it probably means you're not at the stage where you need it yet, because you'll know what you need when you get to those points.
Yeah, and always
I personally hate Zapier. I find it really hard to.
I hate it too.
Like, it's very difficult to use.
Yeah, I don't like using it at all. It's something for, somebody like VAs are really great and quick at using it, as from a user thing. But yeah, don't like it. I don't use it a lot either because I've got Kajabi as well. So I don't have to connect a lot. But yeah, it is a bit one of those things. Now, coming to Kajabi, speaking of, I'm going to share the screen and just give you a quick run around the back end of Kajabi and what it can do for us. Let's move this. So Kajabi, so does everyone know what we're talking about when we talk about Kajabi? It is a great platform, great website platform to house your website and for course creators. So Katie uses it because she's obviously creating a lot of online courses and doing an online business. I use it as well for my business. And I love Kajabi, as it's so great. I remember when I first was talking to Katie about moving over to Kajabi, I was like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, just do it. Everything's there. It is all in the one place. You'll love it. And it has been literally really changed my business and the way that I run things. And I really love it as well. So when you log on, you can start a free trial, and I've popped the link in the PDF as well. So if you haven't had a little look around and you are planning on creating courses or memberships, then Kajabi is definitely the way to go. It's not so great for e-commerce or product-based businesses. I would recommend Shopify. Shopify is really excellent, and I know is wonderful. When I had an e-commerce store, I used WordPress and WooCommerce, which work together. Is basically WordPress, and that was really great as well. I love WordPress for an e-commerce store because you've got so much functionality, and you can do all your auto shipping, all of that sort of thing. It's all integrated into WooCommerce and Shopify. So they would be the two websites that I would recommend if you're going to be selling products. You can also use Squarespace and Wix. I find them, look, they're great and they're kind of easy to use. Generally, they're a little bit clunky. And when you start to look at what you have to add on in those websites, that you've got to buy this, you've got to keep buying different plugins, buying this, and they can actually can end up being quite expensive when you've got lots of different products and things in Wix. I use Wix for my retreat business because that's what my business partner, she was used to using. So it was set up that way. And look, it's fine. It's served its purpose, but there are definitely better options out there. And if you can go that way, definitely Shopify or WooCommerce would be my recommendations for product-based businesses. But for course designers, for women, memberships, Kajabi is definitely the way to go. As Katie said before, having to connect Teachable and all the different things can get a little bit clunky. So in Kajabi, we've got a dashboard which shows us, all the different things here. Basically, when you start in your Kajabi, you're going to set up a website. So it can, we'll just click into the website. So that's the sort of the first thing that you're going to want to start to do. It'll be blank when you first log into Kajabi, and it'll ask you to choose a template. So you'll go to the template store. We've obviously already got Bhakti Business set up, but we'll go to the template store and you can choose a design and a bit of a template that that feels good for you, that you like the look of and the feel of for your business. And then you can tailor this to your business with all your brand colors, your fonts, your imagery, your words, and really make it your own. So there's lots of different templates and things. And then what that will do is that will create a basic website for you. So all your pages are done. Like they're all set up and they're there. You don't have to think about, what page next. It's all sort of set up, and it will give you a home page, a blog post page, an about page, a contact, a library, announcement. So it gives you basically the bones of your website. And then you can go into each individual page and start to tailor it to your business. So I would recommend that you start with home, because you can start with home and you can basically set your colors, your fonts, and just set up all the settings for the whole website in one go. You don't have to do each page individually. And I'll show you where we can do that. So in this section here in the side, you've got a little tab over here with the settings on it. So we can go to settings, and it's got a little menu for each sort of aspect. So your favicon is this little icon here that tells us that it's your website. So that's obviously my inbox, my Asana, and my Google Calendar, all the essentials. And what this will do is create that little, you can upload that little image there. See, we've got that little image there for Bhakti Business. Go back, style guide here, you can change. This is where we change all the colors. We can slot a background image in, like that's a background image, for example. And, you know, we can generally change all the colors across the whole website here. And then we can scroll down and you can change the fonts, the body font, the size of the font, the weight of the font, the heading. You can set your font colors here. So then when you create any new pages and all those other pages that Kajabi's already created for you, it's going to change that across all of the website. It's going to save you so much time. You don't need to go in and do it individually. So that sort of is setting up your template. Then it's the design tools. That just gives you grids if you want to get your grids and everything evenly spaced. I personally don't use those because it kind of sets it all up quite nicely for you. Password reset, you can disable certain pages if you wanted to as well.
One of the things I really love about Kajabi is it's really difficult to stuff it up. So like with a lot of the other ones, they have a lot of functionality, but you can easily just end up accidentally messing up your borders or messing up something, and then you're down a rabbit hole of trying to fix it if you're not very techie. But with Kajabi, because it works in these blocks, you can't really go wrong. Like Edwina said, once you've set up the basic template, you're kind of bound to the template. You add in your information and your design elements, but you can't really like end up creating lots of problems for yourself.
No, you can't. And what I love about Kajabi, which I've noticed with some of the other platforms, is they're really glitchy, and you touch it slightly, and the next thing you know, you've made a section this big and the font's gone, you don't even know how you've done it. So they can be really touchy, whereas that just doesn't happen in Kajabi. So yeah, it's really quite great. And everything's set up in sections. So if you see when I hover over here, you can see that that's a little box and it's set up in a section. That's that section. I can click on the text. And we can change the text in there. We can write the text in here, and this is where you type all your text and content. We can change the colors, we can change the formats, so you can then get right down into each individual block and change each individual block. You can change the width of it, so there's lots you can do there. You can pop your background images in. Down here you can click, see it's got image there. You can put video in the background if you want to. We've got that image. We can have it as a fixed, or we can have it as a static. So yeah, there's lots of different things there. We've got, as we scroll down, you can just scroll down. I name everything in here, so you know when you're moving things around, you've got the names. That was kind of life-changing for me when I found out that you could actually do that. I didn't realize you could do it. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Makes life so much easier when you're designing and setting things up. So yeah, there's lots, and you can just click over this, you can change it, and it will take you straight to that, and you can start typing and changing those words. You can click on that box and it'll bring that text up in the side. And then you can change your heading, you can put your logo up there. Lots of different things you can do, you know, your footer. So that's sort of the basics of setting up a basic website, a web page, and getting your bones happening and getting all the branding happening. So then when we go back to website, we've got, we're just going to go back here. We don't want to change, no, we don't want to save those. We'll just go back here. And then we'll go to, then we've got landing pages. So what your landing pages are, these are the pages where you're going to create your sales pages. You might want to pop a quiz in there. You might want to pop different things. So you can see we've got the business program, We've got events. So these are all different landing pages and sales pages that we've set up. A thank you page, and all those different pages for different things. So the quiz page, for example, I just want to show you something in the quiz page. If you are using a quiz, you can embed it into your page. So when people land and you send them there, they'll complete the quiz and then you'll capture their email addresses. And that's really easy to embed things. You can get different codes from the quiz website and bring it over here. And you just add the section back, and this little section here, you click add section, and you've got all these different options. You've got text, you've got links, you can add countdowns, and the hero is like the main image, the hero image. You can put feature cards, you can do opt-in forms, images and text, or image gallery, or a single image. You can do audios and videos. So you can just simply add any of these. I think we had a question as well. We were talking in the group about the sales pages. This is the fax little accordion that you can pop in.
Oh, that was inside the membership.
Amanda's,
Yeah.
Oh, that was the other group. Yeah.
So,
accordion, where people have got those little drop downs, you know, what are the frequently asked questions about joining this particular program? That's how you would do it. Testimonials. So they're all little templates within the one big page that you can easily just add into each page, which is really great. You just simply click on it, for example, and you click add, and it will show you what it looks like. You get a bit of an idea of what that's going to look like, and then you click add, and it will add it in, and you can go in and edit it. Any questions about that?
Sandy's asking, how much does Kajabi cost? It's on a graduated system, Sandy. So it's in US dollars. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. But what you've got to do is you've got to add up all the other things that you're paying for that you get within Kajabi. So Kajabi is your website. It's your point of sale where people can actually purchase from you. It's where you can house all of your content of your courses. Have you shown that yet, Edwina?
Oh, that's the next one.
Yeah, so we'll show you that now. And then it's also all your marketing, or your email marketing as well. So if you've got different platforms you're paying for to do all of those things, by the time you add it all together, it's actually not that much more. The lowest option is about 150. Is it 150 US or 150 Australian?
149 US.
Yeah, a month. So yeah, it's not cheap, but you've got to look at what else you'd be paying for, and also the time that you'd lose if you don't have it.
It's been like, and that was a real sticking point for me in the beginning, because I wasn't earning a huge amount in my business. Like, I don't know about this, but I was like, no, you know what? I'm just going to back myself. I'm going to invest in it and do it. And then it actually also made me go, right, pull my finger out and create a course and sell it. And I did. And then that paid for that first year of Kajabi just by doing that course. So it paid for itself. That was my first goal. And it really kept me motivated, and I got momentum. And then it's been great because I don't have to pay. There's so much that I'm not paying and not connecting, and all that time connecting everything. It's just been really great.
Yeah, Amelia, go ahead. Unmute. Oh, actually, you know what? Because Edwina has to go, I'm just going to ask all of you to hold your questions because I'm going to stay for Q&A because Edwina's got to leave. So, of course, you can unmute yourself, but let's just wait a moment and we'll do it when Edwina's done, because I don't want to cut into her time because she needs to go.
Oh, thank you. So the products. So your courses are going to be held here in the product menu. So here you can see Katie's got 3 products set up. So these are all courses. So Bhakti Business course, we've got the online summit. So we'll go into the Bhakti Business.
Yeah, this is a good example because you guys have seen this from the front end. So you know what this is like as a user, and then we can now show you how it, you know, what it looks like in the back end. Yeah,
it's really great. This is, it's so cool. I love this. And I know using it from the front end, it was like Kajabi was always so much more user-friendly as a student, and it's been great as a course creator as well. So we go into courses, click on the course, and you can literally, Kajabi's got templates, so you can just set up a course, it will generate a course for you, and you can just set it all up. So all the modules are done and everything's done, and then you can just literally go in, add your images, and then name all your modules and set it up that way. So it's like a bit like Canva, where there's all those different templates. It's the same thing with Kajabi. You can set up a drip feed where you just drip feed people the course content. You can do it different ways. So here is the back end. So this is what it looks like. So you can see all the different modules of Bhakti Business here. And we can simply, to add the content, I'm just going to move that little thing over there. Go here and you'll see they're all published. Drop that down. You can change it to draft, drip, or you can lock it as well for a certain period of time. If it's not, you don't want to overwhelm your students and give them too much, you can just close things off and drip feed it in. So they're doing one session a week type of thing. Here is where you can add your content. So you can literally click that. It will give you a sub module. So we could add a sub module into the welcome. We can add a lesson. This is what I use mainly. I mainly use a module, and I just add lessons in. And I think you do the same, don't you, Katie?
Yeah, I do. And then in each lesson, you can add a video, an audio, a PDF, whatever extra material you want to add.
Yeah. So we'll go into this one, and you can see, give it the title. Here's where it's sitting in the course. You can change it. If you decide that you want to move it around, you can always change it as well. Katie's got an audio file in here. So the one that, an audio file to listen to. And here you just type in all the information. You can put links, you can put images in here as well. She's got the Survey Monkey there. And you come down here. This is where you can add your download PDF file. So that's how I'll upload the PDF from today's session, is I'll go into that session and I'll click on that and literally upload it from my computer, from my device. I can upload it from Dropbox, Google Drive, whatnot, and it will connect and upload. You can add automations in here. So say, for example, you want to quiz people, you can always add a quiz in. Once they've completed that quiz, they can go to the next session, becomes unlocked, and they can go on. And what else in here? You can upload your thumbnail image, so it's all branded beautifully. And
do you want to just click on the preview so they can see? I mean, you guys have seen this anyway because you've got access to this course, but what we've just looked at there, you can then click on preview and it will show us exactly what it looks like from a customer's experience.
Yeah, we can go to the next as well there, and you'll see there's the downloads sitting there so people can download. So that's what it looks like from that end.
Edwina, how are you going for time? Do you need to dash? Edwina's kids are in a school play this evening, so we don't want to impede on that. It's very important.
Yeah, I've called the troops, and I've got my husband and my mum out there feeding them dinner.
Right.
So I've got another 10 minutes. That's fine.
Beautiful. Good.
Yeah. So we've got, so that's there.
That gives a good idea of how it works in terms of courses. And like Edwina said, you can, if you want to do whatever type of course you want to build, it will automatically build it for you. You just tell it what you want it to do and it does it.
Yeah. You can add so just go back to courses. I'll just show them where they can do that first step.
Yeah.
So here, it's not showing up for me. Where is it? There's probably a little button that pops up here. Creating.
Yeah, it should say create a course. Oh, there we go.
Time.
Slow.
Yeah. So create a new course here. So you can enter your details in here and then literally hit continue. Course, brief description. And it will generate, it'll ask you here, it'll give you an option, I think, here to just continue. And then here we go. It gives you an option here, how you want to charge people, how much you can connect to different offers. So you set up different offers and things. Let's just do like a freebie. At the minute, we'll just sort of, or you can skip for now if you're not sure. And it will generate a course and show you here exactly what, you know, it'll generate that for you. Basically, you can click on one of these and it'll just generate it for you, which is awesome. And then you go in and edit it. The other function is if any of you are doing coaching, like one-on-one mentoring and coaching, it's got that in the back end as well. So you can actually create a little coaching portal where you can upload notes and documents. I use it in my business, which is I really quite love it, because you can upload Zoom links in there from your video mentoring calls. And
do you use it instead of Calendly? Does it work like Calendly?
So it links to Calendly. So I link my Calendly, and then that all links, and it basically gives you a little room basically that you can communicate with your mentees, and you can share information. You can do an agenda. You can upload files and send them resources and all that sort of thing, which is really great. Community, I haven't mastered community yet, to be honest. It's meant to be a little bit like a membership area or like a bit of a Facebook.
Yeah, community's the only thing in Kajabi I really don't like. It's really clunky and hard to use. So it's sort of meant to replace Facebook. I'm a massive Kajabi super fan, but I don't like community at all. It didn't work for me.
They've got there's always changes happening with it because it's just not right yet. So I still haven't mastered that. So if anyone masters it, let me know. Give it a go. Podcasts, you can create your own podcasts, which is really cool. I haven't personally done this yet, but I've had a little look around. And I think Katie should start a podcast because she's got lots of free time. And now marketing. So the last thing I wanted to show you is the marketing tab. And Katie she's got a lot of experience using the email campaigns in here. And what you can do when people join one of your courses, you tag them, for example, with Bhakti Business September 23. So that will be all of you, that you would get a tag. So then Katie knows to email you. She would choose that group of people, and she can then email you all directly about what's happening, what's coming up.
And the thing I love about this is you can see really detailed statistics. So you can see, you know, I mean, we'll do a whole module on email marketing, so I don't want to get into that now. But what you can see here is that I don't email my whole list all the time. In fact, I quite rarely email my entire database. I email chunks of my database for different things. So I tag people according to what I know they're interested in. So if someone, for example, is clicking on all my Ayurveda stuff, then they'll get tagged as interested in Ayurveda. If someone's clicking on all my yoga of birth stuff, they'll get tagged for that. Right now I'm running Liquid Gold. That was a few months ago. And so I've got tags in my system that tell me who's opted in for that, who's interested. So what it means is I can leave the rest of my people alone. I'm not constantly, you know, spamming everyone with everything. And then you can see how many people you've sent it to, and also how many of those people opened it, and then how many people clicked through. And there are sort of industry standards around open rates and click-through rates, which we will talk about more when we do email marketing. But if you're not already email marketing, I'm going to be very strongly encouraging you to start, because you're definitely leaving potential sales on the table if you don't use your email marketing well.
Yeah. And across the website, you'll see places like that you can enter your name, and Katie will, you know, like we did for the Business of Yoga Summit, we had opt-in forms. And so that's what that is. It's a form that opts you into the freebie. So the lead magnet or the lead generation, there's all sort of different names. They're all the same thing. And then it will show you can set up different forms for different things. And then again, Katie tags and targets people that she markets her emails to, knowing that,
yeah. So like, just to give you a really practical example of that, like this course now is on sale. Sorry, the Bhakti Business Group program that you guys are in is not on sale right now because we've just, you know, we're in it and I haven't yet set the dates for the next one. So what I've done is I've changed the sales page for that. Instead of people being able to sign up, they now go onto a wait list. And then that is captured in that form and I can click. I only set it up yesterday, so there's probably not anyone in it yet. Maybe there's one person or something, but they'll be then captured into that wait list rather than you know, not being able to sign up and me just losing them completely. So I think, yeah, Edwina's showing you what that would look like from a customer point of view.
Yeah. Where did you put that? Is it just
I think it's not I think you got to actually click on the like where you would purchase. Yeah, join the wait list.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And then they'll enter their details there, and then that will show up in the back end of my Kajabi as tagged that they're on that wait list, and then I can email them when I've got the new dates, and I've already got a captive audience for that.
Yeah.
All right, I think that gives you a really good overview of Kajabi and all the rest of the tech. We'll let Edwina skip off to school. And what are your children? What are they being?
Archie's Angus Young from AC/DC. The blaze, he's got long hair, so he's got the little cap and the hair, curly hair coming out, and the guitar. So he comes out apparently and does the guitar to Thunderstruck. And then Finley's a mime, a French mime. The school's traveling, it's called Sky High, and they're traveling around the world. So each class is a different country and they all get, a little part. So every child gets a part.
I love it. It's so good. My children were both in Wakakiri a couple of years ago now, it was a while ago, and neither of them particularly talented at drama, so they both were bushes.
Love it.
It's a role to remember for life, isn't it? I was a bush.
I was a bush. Love it.
All right, lovely. Have a great time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you later. Let's
jump into all these juicy questions. So I'm going to just go back through the chat and then I'm going to open up. We talked briefly about how much Kajabi costs. Do you need to have a separate email marketing list? No, because it's all in there. Yeah, Chelsea, I agree. I think the user experience of Kajabi is really good. And what you'll notice is, I mean, you know, go and do this research. Almost any online course that you've signed up for that delivers really well, it's almost always through Kajabi. Like the more professional sort of online course creators tend to use it. How do you manage your email marketing when you don't have access to Kajabi with this detailed information, if you don't want to bombard your whole list all of the time? It depends. If you're with some of the email providers that are connected to websites will allow you to tag. So things like Wix and WordPress. I'm not sure about Squarespace, but I know Wix does definitely, that you can tag people. So it works similarly to Kajabi. So you're not bombarding people. And MailChimp as well, where people can select what topics they're interested in. Yes. So MailChimp as well is another option. Although I don't know if this is true because I'm not with them anymore, but I heard that MailChimp recently put their prices up and they're quite expensive. And yeah, we will talk more about, we're going to do a whole module on email marketing. So if you've got questions around that, we can definitely get into that, but probably we'll try and stick to tech today. Amelia, what did you want to ask?
Hi. So as you know, I'm using Thinkific for my online yoga teacher training, and I'm using Uscreen for my online yoga studio. The reason that I've got two is because I couldn't put an online yoga studio on Thinkific. Does Kajabi allow you to do that, or it's only for building courses?
When you say online yoga studio, what's the functionality? What does it need to be able to do?
So a library of yoga classes where there's a membership and people can access the yoga classes, and I would add a new one every fortnight. They can search classes via with filters like duration and intensity and skill, that kind of thing. And then they can favorite classes, and then they can also comment and ask me questions within that platform as well.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
sounds good. Is that specifically for yoga studios and like gyms and that type of thing?
So it's for anybody that has like an online library, I suppose. So I think I found it because one of my favorite Pilates teachers in New York uses it, and I spoke with her, and that's what she uses. It's really fantastic and it's easy to use, but it is $100 a month
Yeah.
to run that, and so I think that's like 100, almost 150 Australian dollars at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
And
look,
I'm just thinking if I start to build my own online courses that are separate from the teacher training who I run with my business partner, I don't want to have to pay for 3 different platforms. So yeah.
I don't love Thinkific. I find it really clunky and a little bit ugly as well. Like it's not very user friendly and pretty, it doesn't have the same interface as Kajabi. So I know you can definitely replace everything that's in Thinkific with Kajabi, and you can improve on it. You can do a lot more. Someone in the previous business program did exactly that. She jumped from Thinkific into Kajabi and she hasn't looked back. Like it's been really positive for her. With that yoga library one, I think that Kajabi won't have all that functionality. It won't be able to help you choose according to things like duration or like that level of detail. You could definitely store the library there, and you could definitely add to it each week and all of that, but that very specific functionality around like being able to be very specific about what you're looking, like search functioning, it doesn't do that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No worries. Someone else wanted to ask a question. Was it Kim? Or I think I answered that one.
Hi, Katie. I think it was me.
Oh, please go ahead.
It was me about adding a booking system onto the website.
Yes.
Is that usually outside of the website? Does it have to be a different provider, or how does it work?
Well, this is the great thing about Kajabi is it's all in one. So then you can have people signing up for things. You can be creating payments. You can be, like it just all happens within that platform. For one-to-one sessions, I add Calendly. You guys know because you book the one-to-ones through Calendly, which I've just discovered from Edwina 10 minutes ago, also can interface with Kajabi. I actually didn't know that. You can do it with an external provider and then connect it to your website. And the way that you would do that is by using Zapier, which is what Edwina spoke about before, when you've got 2 different things and you need them to talk to each other. But I just find Zapier so difficult. That's why I haven't really done that. I'm just trying to think.
If I have my book now button,
yes,
on
then
my website,
in Kajabi, it would automatically, you'd create that in the back of Kajabi and it would work in that way. Another thing you could do is PayPal now has a lot of good functionality. So you can actually integrate in a lot of websites. If you want to keep it lower cost and less complicated, you can actually integrate PayPal into just a regular website, and they click on a PayPal button. The disadvantage of that is not everyone has PayPal. So you do lose some people because they don't want to use PayPal or they don't have it. Sandy, I'm really interested to ask you, because I know you don't use Kajabi and you have a really good back-end system and you do offer courses and trainings. What do you use?
Yeah, it's really got me thinking about it, because I'm going to do the maths on it to see whether it would be cheaper for me to go to Kajabi. But I'm actually in a similar position to Amelia in that I have an online library of yoga classes. And so the way I do it is it's all on my own website. So I had a web designer create my website for me 2 years ago. And I believe I paid her about $5,000 for the setup. And that was like everything. That was like branding, so the color palette. She created templates for me to use, plus the website. So that was everything all in one go for $5,000. And so now what I pay is like my renewal fees. I've just done it because it was just here in August. So I pay a Vimeo subscription because that's where my classes are uploaded, and then I insert those videos into my website. And I think my Vimeo membership was like $250 or something for a year. I have another thing coming up tomorrow. That's my annual WooCommerce subscription, and that's $300 a year. And yeah, I use MailChimp, but I don't pay anything for MailChimp. I guess I probably don't have a big enough email list yet to have to pay for that. And then there's just like my annual website fees for like protection and
you're a
domain name and stuff.
You're a great example of someone who, and you're doing it really well, because if you go and look at Sandy's website, it's not clunky. It actually works very seamlessly. It sounds like your original website designer probably coded like just for you, which is obviously an initial investment of quite a lot of money to have that happen. But you're a good example of someone who's not got the all-in-one system like Kajabi, but you've patchworked it together and it's working pretty well. But I would also be really interested to see the numbers on that. So when you do those numbers, let us know in the group chat what that comes out at, because I guess if all things being equal, if you're starting out, especially, you've got to factor in that initial $5,000 cost as well, because in Kajabi you could actually replicate that without that cost. It's just a template that's already there. I mean, Kajabi hasn't existed for that long, so back, I don't know how long Kajabi's been around, but like 7, 8, 9 years ago, you had to patchwork it all together. This option wasn't available. Peter's just asked, does Kajabi have live video option? And yes, it does. So yeah, it almost has like its own Zoom. I use Zoom because I just like Zoom and it's easy, but it does have its own live video that can then be like people in Kajabi in their portal and the video's streaming. That can happen. Yeah. And yeah, Zoom would be another annual subscription. Yeah, I mean, it all adds up. And the thing is, what I want to say to all of you, especially those of you starting out, is I know it can feel really a lot and it can feel like, gosh, I'm just spending and spending and spending. But what you're actually doing is you're setting up the foundation for a business that can make money. And any business that you start, you have to invest in. If you were going to open a shop, you'd have to like pay rent and buy products to sell, and there'd be all this marketing stuff you had to do as well. Like an online business in terms of setup costs is actually very low cost compared to almost every other business, but it's not free. You do have to invest a little bit in yourself. And like Edwina said, I think the way to look at that is you're investing in yourself, and then that actually puts a little bit of gentle pressure on you to do the thing and make it work, because you've spent some money, and so you're in it, you're invested, and you've got to make it work. Gabby's asking, do I use Stripe? Yes, I do. I use Stripe and PayPal, and I can tell you some really interesting numbers around that, because my dear friend Sarah McGann decided for some reason that she doesn't like PayPal, and she thinks it's like, I don't know, corporate America and it's capitalism at its worst and what have you, although they all are. I mean, as if Stripe's any different, but whatever. She took a disliking to PayPal, so she took PayPal off as a payment option on her website, and she has a very successful online business, and instantly her sales dropped by 30%. And then when she added PayPal back on as an option, so you can pay with Stripe or PayPal, the sales went back up again. So I would strongly advocate for both PayPal and Stripe. And I'm also just in the process now, because Kajabi's just gotten the technology to do this, of adding in Apple Pay, which makes it even easier. You can buy things while you're half asleep with Apple Pay. It's kind of scary. Any other questions? Anything at all on all this tech stuff? Just feel free to unmute yourself and ask me. Anyone? Anything? Is anyone feeling very overwhelmed after today's session? Is anyone just going, I don't even know what just happened, my head's exploding? Kim, a little bit. Taylor, a little bit. I mean, like for you, Kim's a really good example of someone who's just starting out, and she's just starting out on low budget. So you know, it's a case of, like I said at the beginning, stripping it all back and just super simple. So you're going to use Milkshake for your, not really a website, but a start at a website, Instagram for a place that you can send your customers, some business cards, and some sort of payment setup. And that's it. That's all you really need to start with. So, you know, slowly, don't let it be a reason that you don't begin. One thing at a time. And what you'll find is it sort of happens organically anyway, because, you know, once you get it all up online and people want to start buying, then you're like, oh shit, okay, now I have to figure out how people can pay me. And then once you've figured out how they can pay you, you're capturing all these email addresses, and you're like, okay, so now I need to figure out what to do with all these email addresses, where to put them. So we're kind of dumping it all on you in one go. But the truth is, as you do it, you'll figure it out, because it's a, you know, it's like a sort of monster with its own energy. I shouldn't say monster. I was trying to think of something nicer to say then, but it has its own energy, and you just have to kind of flow with that and keep up. And same for you, Peter. Like it's all new. You're at the beginning, so just one step at a time. Start your Instagram. You know, get your Milkshake would be another good option for you if you're not yet ready to build a website. The biggest thing, honestly, and I know I feel like I repeat myself over and over again, but the most important thing, more important than your logo or your Canva or your branding or anything, is that you start selling something. Because until you start selling something, you're not running a business. It's just a hobby. So all of this other stuff will come, and it can come, but just make a beginning. Even if what you're selling is something that costs $20, or, you know, it's like super like minimal compared to what your dreams are ultimately, but just beginning will have you're on the horse, you're in the game, and it's from there everything is possible. But the longer you wait and kind of draw it out, and next month, before you know it, 6 months have gone.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that, because I have decided to do the kombucha first, as I actually initially thought I was going to go focus more on the yoga and Reiki and things like that instead of the kombucha in this program. That kind of like flipped everything around for me and how I need to think as well, because it's a completely different setup, a completely different product. Because for my yoga, I would probably eventually jump into Kajabi, and with the kombucha, I'm not quite sure yet. And even today, like what you mentioned about starting to sell, like I have started to try get those little pieces together for my Instagram I've made, and like I need to like write some things up for Milkshake and the payment link and all those things, and like even that like hurts my brain. But then today, like I've already sold probably too much like pre-order for next week of my kombucha, and I'm like, I actually at the same time need to like upskill my batch to like being able to continue with the sale. So I'm like, it's kind of like in different areas that I'm trying to like figure that all out at the same time. Because if you don't do it, like you said, like if you don't start, and I find myself a very good example in that, like if I don't start like getting into these processes, like upscaling the batch, or keep getting like that, the question like, oh, I want to buy like whatever, like 5 bowls of kombucha. Like that's really great, but all of that adds up, and like I have again like 15 pre-orders for next week or the week after, and I'm like, if I don't get into that, or with the Milkshake things to set up, then you never know how to create your system that works for you either, because I don't know what I'm doing. Like honestly, guys, like I'm just brewing kombucha in my kitchen at home. Like I have no idea. It started with like a jar of a liter, and now I'm like brewing like up 20 liters a week almost. So it's like, it's so crazy. Yeah.
And I think you're a great example of someone who went with what was working. You know, we did a review of all the different things in your business, all the different facets. And the thing that was actually selling, and that was easy, and was already you had an audience for, was the kombucha. So the minute you turn your attention to it, of course, the orders are exploding, because people were ready. It was just you weren't ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna, and you're raising an interesting point too, which is the difference between working on your business and working in your business. And as self-employed entrepreneurs, all of us in this space are doing both of those things. So there's the times when you're doing things like setting up your website, your Instagram, your marketing, your emails, your strategy, like what am I going to sell, when am I going to sell it, like the big picture vision. Especially those of you who have been established in business for a while, people like Amelia. I've been going through this process with Kate as well, who I know will be listening to the replay, Sandy to a certain extent. It's like we look at what you've already done and what you're doing, and Chelsea too, like where do you want to go, like what is it you want to amplify, what is it you want to let go of. It's like that bigger picture vision, and we often don't have the time for that because we're so busy in our business just continuing to teach classes and show up and do all the things. However, when you've done that bigger picture and that sort of review of working on your business, then you've got to do the stuff that's in it, which is the show up and teach the yoga, run the teacher training, run the women's circle, brew the kombucha, and we're constantly doing both. And the ideal is that we have the balance between the two so that we've got support in both as well. Yeah, exactly, Kim. You just work it out as you're going. It just keeps rolling as you're going. And one thing I love to do in my business, and I do this all the time, because honestly, with 5 kids, like there's always a reason to be distracted and to be, not doing the thing, is I set a date and I put something on sale and I make it public. I say, I'm going to be doing this in this month. And then I really feel like I have to do it because I said I was going to do it. And then the momentum begins because I've said I was going to do the thing. But otherwise, it's just so easy to just always be deferring. It's human nature. We feel overwhelmed and we think, okay, I'll do it later. But there's very rarely a time where you just suddenly don't feel overwhelmed and there's like all the time in the world to create and make it happen. Yeah. Any other questions on the tech stuff, especially those of you feeling a bit overwhelmed? Is there a way that I can help you just feel a bit clearer?
Just because I feel like I don't really have the option. Milkshake and Instagram is not going to work for me, so I need a website, but I don't really have online content or I don't know, like anything to sell online. It's just a service. So I'm like a little bit stuck now. Like, I mean, Kajabi sounds great, but is that like, I really don't know. I mean, in the future, I can see how it would work. But at the same time, do I now go and kind of restart it all again? I just don't know what to do now.
You've got a website already, right?
Well, I started with Squarespace, and I'm still on a trial, but only because the trial hasn't run out yet. But yes, I've got it pretty much. I just need to link the booking and write a couple of things and then look at it again and fine tune it a little bit. Don't let today's session throw you off. I think you know what you're doing. You're on the right track. You do need to get your payment functionality sorted out because that's obviously so people can actually book, so the schools can book. Yeah.
But you don't need Kajabi yet because you're not yet at the stage where you're going to be running online offerings. So that might come later. But I think for now, the most important thing is that there's a website that the schools can go to, and then when they want to sign up, they can pay. So I would say keep going.
Yeah.
You're on the right track. Yeah. Anyone else?
I don't have so much a question, but I'm just sitting here and feeling this like excitement for everyone in this container about where we're all going to be in 6 months' time. I just really feel like everything right now feels so hard, and so overwhelming, and that we have this like giant mountain to climb, but that it feels so cool to think that in 6 months' time we'll get there, or whenever, we'll all get there on different timelines, but 6 months down the line from now, we're going to be in such a different place. So I just wanted to share that I'm actually feeling quite excited, even if that excitement is tinged with fear as well.
Yeah, thank you, Sandy. And I can't tell you guys, because this is the third time I've run this training in pretty much exactly the same format. So when you finish this training, you've got the option to keep working with me in like a private membership. It's just $50 a month. I kept it really, really low cost because the training is the thing you invest in. And then after that, I just wanted to give you the option to be able to continue to have me available. And in that private membership, we just meet once a month. We have a Zoom call once a month, and then it's the WhatsApp group. So very similar to your WhatsApp group. And I'm just like, honestly, so in awe of what people are doing and continuing to do. Like, yeah, it's really incredible, like how just consistently showing up and continuing to push forward with your business. It doesn't happen. Well, sometimes it does, but it's very rare that it happens overnight and there's like a, huge astronomical growth. It usually is just incremental, and it happens steadily, and it happens because you don't give up and you feel overwhelmed, but you keep going, and you feel like procrastinating, but you make yourself do the thing. And yeah, I'm watching that now with the women who are in the group that are, have done this program and have continued on in the membership, and they're just incredible, the things they're doing. I mean, Edwina's a really, really great example. She didn't have Shakti Creative before she started doing this program, and now she's got like a bunch of clients, and she's, making a really solid impact in terms of her family's income. And there's plenty of other examples that I could share with you of people that have just really changed their businesses, and not just financially, like making more money, which of course is a big goal, but also having a better life, like, not teaching lots of things that are really draining, or showing up for things that aren't properly paid, or just wasting time and energy and money, because that's so easy to do when you're in your business, but you're not looking at it from the outside and working on your business. So yeah, thank you, Sandy. And I feel the same. I know because it's my third time now, like I'm not going to lie, when I ran the first round of the training, because I haven't done business coaching before, I was like, I really hope these guys are going to get some results. Like, I'm heavily invested in like wanting everyone to do really well out of it, but not like I wasn't 100% confident because I'd never done it before. But now I've done it twice. I've seen consistently not only the results people can get, but also the very common themes in terms of what are the stumbling blocks, what are the big barriers. And usually the main barriers, I mean, there's a few I could list, but the really big ones are getting distracted, like having a focus, but then allowing yourself to just be pulled off that focus, and sort of the shiny object thing of like, oh, I'm going to go over here and do this, I'm going to go over here and do that, like a toddler in a supermarket. And I've done that myself in my business, and it always costs me. It costs me in terms of energy, time, money. It's never a good idea. So there's that. And then the other one is just delaying. Oh, I'll do it next month. I'll do it next month. Now's not the right time. Now's not the right time. It's just, there's never going to be the perfect time. It's just starting. Even if you start really small, even if you start baby steps, then you've got something to build on. So thank you, Sandy. That was beautiful sharing. Any last questions? Okay. All right. Well, we can continue this conversation in the WhatsApp chat if you go away and you start working on something. Of course, you've all got one-to-ones remaining as well. But if you start working on something and you're not sure in terms of the tech, or it's just confusing, Edwina is also in our WhatsApp group as well. So she's there to give that support. Any support that you need around this stuff, I'm here, she's there. Reach out. And because you are all at different stages of business, there will be different things that are appropriate for each of you that aren't necessarily appropriate for someone else. So again, just using that discernment and filtering. And if you need help with that, like if you want to just ask me, for me specifically at my stage of business, what do you think? Then I'm more than happy to kind of engage on that level. Gabby's asking, do I have any time blocking suggestions? Like in terms of my own like time management, how to be efficient in terms of our own time management. Is that what you mean, Gabby?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think just in terms of like for me, juggling between clients and, you know, all the other stuff, and trying to sort of create those time blocks where you can concentrate and get things done and focus.
Yeah. Okay, so two things I would say there. First of all, I have trained myself, and I wasn't always like this. It's something I've learned to do, to get really good at focusing in very short amounts of time. And I believe that you can train yourself to do that. That's a skill. It's not something that some people have and other people don't. So I can use 15 minutes. I can use half an hour. I can use an hour is like a gift. If I have an hour to do something, like in my world, that's like, wow, I've been given, you know, I can do something big in an hour. But I work in small increments because it's often all I've got. Up until really recently, my daughter wasn't in daycare. So I had her full time from when she was born until like a month ago. She's in daycare 3 mornings a week now. So that's again, like amazing because I've got a lot more time. But so it would literally be like, you know, I'd be playing with her or giving her something to eat or like setting her up with something. And then I'd have like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to work in between. And, I have a standing desk so that my kids can't, well, young kids can't reach it. So I can have everything all out without having to like pack it all away again. That helps, having stuff set up. Just like if you have your yoga mat out on the floor, you're much more likely to stop and do a bit of yoga than if it's all packed away and you have to get it all out again. So yeah, train yourself to work in small increments. Instead of, if you've got 15 minutes, instead of getting your phone out and just zoning out and numbing out and having a scroll on Instagram, which I'm not saying I never do that, but you know, ask yourself, what could I do in 15 minutes that would move my business forward? What's something I could do in this half an hour window that I have that would move my business forward? And then do it. I also always have a list of things to do, and the way that my list, I'm old school, it's a piece of paper. I don't use Asana or any of those, like, because I just find they waste time. By the time I've updated my silly organizing scheduling app, like I've lost the time that I could have actually done something. So that's just me. Some people find them very useful. And then when I look at my list, I can see on my list, like there will be things in there that are quick and easy, like email this person back, or, you know, write this short thing or whatever. And then there are some things that are really big tasks. And so the big tasks, I then, to answer your question about blocking, I schedule. If it's not scheduled, it's not going to happen. And you'll just keep deferring it and deferring it. So I literally block out my calendar. Like when I was writing the book, you know, I wrote like a 35,000 word book whilst pretty much full-time parenting. I didn't have lots of blocks of time where Leela was being, you know, cared for, and my partner works full-time and he's got 2 children that he also has to make time for of his own, as well as helping out with mine and ours. I just blocked out times for it. I created and scheduled times, and sometimes it's the weekend, sometimes it's the evening. But then what I do try to do is I also take time off if I've worked at other times. So like if I've worked in the evening, for example, I'll try to take the next morning off, and then I might like take myself off to a cafe and just have a really chill morning and play in the park because I stayed up and worked the night before. I don't just like a machine keep working all the time. So I do try to trade off, but I in my own calendar, my own diary, I schedule blocks of time to work on things in my business, and I don't allow myself to not do that unless there's something like really, really compelling that means I can't do it. Including, I don't use my children as, and I'm going to use this word, an excuse to not get stuff done. Like if I have a sick kid at home, okay, kids at home, kids sick, I've still got to work. And my kids know that. They know that. They know I'm very available for them. I do school drop off and pick up every day. You know, I'm there, I'm present, but I'm also a working mum and I need to earn money, and they respect that and they allow time and space for that too. I hope that helps. I'm strict, I'm disciplined, and discipline is a not unpopular word these days, people love the idea of just go with the flow and do what you feel, and but you need discipline if you're going to build something worth creating. It's just a fact. And you sometimes have to do it when you don't feel like it. Kylie.
Hello. So at the moment, I've got that course running. It's happening in November, and I do have one lady who's already paid the deposit, and three of them that saying they're going to do the course, but they're not they still haven't given me, like I said, oh, you can pay $100 deposit. I'm really unsure of how to get payments out of people. I don't have systems in place. It seems like everything's just all over the shop. Even just sending them out emails because they haven't paid. I'm not sure whether to send them what emails to send them, and it's just. Should I give them a time frame, like to say, oh, you confirmed your booking, or
how have you asked them to pay? Have you given them your bank details and asked them to pay into your bank account?
Yeah, or could I just create an invoice for them with a time where they have to pay by? Or
it's probably part of a bigger question around having systems in place in your business overall. So what you really want to do is you want to have a bookings page where people go in and they book, and it's got the dates and everything on it, like a sales page, like you did for signing up for this training. And then that way everything's automated and it's not so personal where you're having to kind of, directly kind of follow up with them. Although that said, I am very careful that I do follow up with people who've shown interest in things in my business. Some of you will have been those people, and I say, hey, you said you were interested, are you going to book? And sometimes I'll offer some special offer for people to book, quickly or immediately. One thing I'll say is this: people say they're going to book and they say they're going to do something. It's not real until they've paid money. So that's just a fact. It happens a lot that people with the best of intentions and with genuinely wanting to do something, then at the last minute pull out. So it's not real until they've paid. And the other thing that's really important is about having a sales page and all that type of stuff is it sets the terms and conditions of what payment means. Like, I'm really strict in my business, both the business and my yoga and Ayurveda business, that when you've paid, I don't really offer refunds unless there's like a really compelling reason, and that's all laid out so it's clear. So we're going to have our one-to-one, and when we have our one-to-one, I'll help you get those systems in place. We can talk about exactly what that would look like, but you really want to have an automated system in place where people can book. Probably the easiest and quickest way is through PayPal if you haven't got anything set up. Now, you can do it where they pay into your bank account, but it's a lot harder to get people to do that generally. It's much more of a barrier than just having a button they press and they book in.
For the first one that I didn't get anyone into, I had an Eventbrite page.
Yeah.
So they could pay on that. But this time I didn't put it up because I'm giving these ones discounts because I just want to get one course. I just want to get a course with people in it. Yeah. So basically that first lady, she did the face massage, and she's so she gets a discount anyway because she's already done the face part of it. So then she got her mum and she's got a couple of others in. So I've given them the discount. But then I just thought, okay, I'm going to give everyone $100 off this course. Yeah. So it's already a discount. It's a discounted price for everyone, and they just she gets a little bit more of a discount. So the prices are a little bit.
That makes it easier. And again, we can talk about pricing, but the easy part of that is you make an expiry on the discount code. You just say, look, you can have the discount, but it's expiring on Tuesday. If you haven't paid by Tuesday, the discount. I mean, don't be as blunt as this. Say it more nicely than this. Yeah. But the discount is only valid for X amount of time.
Yeah, I'll tell them it's only for this course then. Yeah, this one only.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, always have a deadline, because people want to and book for things and then they get busy and distracted. It's always have a deadline.
Okay. Yes.
Is it
any last questions?
Is it okay to quickly jump in there? Like, what if you have a course and it hasn't filled So you actually can't run it because you don't have enough people.
Yeah, I don't really believe in that. I think you run it when you're starting out. That what is not enough people? Run it for one person.
You can't. I felt like that I couldn't really do that with children. Like it's not really a thing you run with one child, like a children's yoga class. I sort of set myself a minimum of 4.
It gets so complicated. It's really hard if you have minimums because you can't necessarily guarantee you'll get them. And my honest advice would be find a way to do it with whoever books, because that's what builds momentum. If you're canceling and refunding, it just creates a bad energy. It's not, you know, you just, I mean, I always tell the story of Yogi Bhajan, who taught to an empty room when he first came to Australia, to America. He came from India to America and he founded Kundalini Yoga movement. There's all kinds of issues around that now with, you know, sexual predatory and all that stuff. But all of that aside, just the part of the story that's relevant is that he founded a movement that had thousands of followers in the end. And he taught to an empty room for the first few sessions that he ever taught.
And I think
I showed up and taught to an empty room. So
I have taught like to one, like I have taught to one adult because no one else showed up, and that's kind of not a problem. I just found myself stuck in the way like a kid session or my kid session would have been set up, and then running it with just 2 kind of thing. But yeah, I just have to kind of
Kirsten, that's what happened to me. I had the location booked, everything ready to go, this course, and I just couldn't get anyone into it. I had the room booked for 3 days, cost me $400, and I just had to pay it because I didn't want to say, oh, I didn't get anyone in the course, I'm not going to pay. I can't pay now. You can't do that to people. So I'd never run a course before either. So I basically just got a bunch of friends for free to come in and just do a course. And I have gotten more from that, and I've got marketing photos and just practice, just standing up in front of people and everything. It was really worth it. Even though it cost me a bit of money, it didn't matter. It was so worth it just to have the practice and just like once people, if you've got your friends coming in to do it, they're like, oh, that was great. And then I have actually got more interest from doing that from those ladies. So it was good just to do it anyway.
It's an energetic thing. If you go into it thinking, oh, what will I do if I don't get the numbers? You create an energetic patterning of, oh, I might not get the numbers. And then it's just a whole downer from the beginning. The way I look at it is the minute I've got my first booking for anything I put on sale, as soon as one person has booked, it's happening. I will make it happen for that person. I've always done that. Sandy will tell you, she's watched me do this for many years, and I've taught many things to not very many people. But as you show up, you create a momentum, you create an energy, you have an intention, and you don't do it in a kind of like, oh, I'm sorry, you're only one person, but I'll teach it anyway. And do you want it or do you want to go? You're like, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm super excited that we can do a one-to-one. Actually, do you know what? It happened to me yesterday. What am I talking about? So a friend of mine hired me to teach a business training in her thing. She paid me money to do it. And it was on Zoom for an hour talking about business. And I rocked up and only one person came. And she said, oh, I don't want to waste your time. Should we not do it? I'm happy to not do it. And I was like, no, you're here. I'm here. I'm so happy. Let's do this. And we had a great session. We did a one-to-one. So it's just energy. And you've just got to come in with the energy of this is happening. I'm doing this. And 1 becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 10, becomes 100. And it just does get more and more effortless. Even with the free things, when I used to, you know, even like not a year ago, let's say 2 years ago, when I first started offering free opt-in of live sessions, when I was doing things like my liquid gold that's coming up next week, those types of things, I would work so hard to get free people signing up for something for free. And I'd get maybe 50 people, 100 people, but it was free. And I'd be so happy. This time now for liquid gold, I don't know where these people have come from. I'm surprised. I got 600 people sign up. Like they just fell out of the sky, honestly. But I know where they've come from. They've come from 4 years of me running this online business, showing up consistently, always doing the things I say I'm going to do, and teaching even if it's small numbers of people. It's everyone starts from the same place. We all start from the same place of feeling like I don't really know what I'm doing and I haven't got any followers. That's where we begin. And then we just keep going. The difference between the people that have successful businesses and the ones that don't, honestly, is the ones that are successful just keep showing up. Sometimes, and I've seen this a lot in business, and I'm sure you guys have too, and I'll end on this because it's time for us to go, but there are people who are very successful in business who aren't actually that good at what they do. It's just that they're very good at showing up. And then there are others who are brilliant at what they do. And I know people like this, and it hurts my heart, who aren't that successful because they're not consistent in showing up. So that's my parting note for today. Like, you can be averagely good at what you do, but if you consistently show up, you'll build a successful business. If you're great, which I know all of you are at what you do, then you'll build a very successful business. But if you don't show up and keep doing it and keep showing up and keep disciplining yourself, then even if you're amazing, you won't build a business. And I know people like that, and it makes me really sad because it's lost potential. So that's a little ranty pep talk for the last few moments of this evening. I will really look forward to your feedback in the WhatsApp group on this session. I know this is a big one, and I know the tendency to leave it and just feel completely overwhelmed is high, but just, again, it's a discipline piece. Again, don't let yourself feel overwhelmed. Don't let the overwhelm monster get you. Just step by step, step by step, step by step, and know that you've got support as well within this group and from me. So you're not doing it alone. Have a beautiful evening, everyone. Take care.